Hi, I was looking at the data from SEBI on mutual funds, and something very interesting popped out that if you look at the first 5 months of this financial year from April to August, almost half the entire inflows into mutual funds have come into what are called the sectoral and thematic funds. So this is interesting. So how should you look at thematic funds? One, let me tell you, and this is based on data, we actually plotted this, that if you go back in time from when mutual funds started in India and you look at when the new fund offerings or the NFOs come in a particular theme, whether that theme is sector, whether it is something like PSU or defense or pharma or IT, that kind of thing, or it's a market cap category, small cap versus large cap, something like that. Or if you look at country wise also, so if you remember in 2021 there were a number of NASDAQ funds launched or Greater China funds launched. So if you look at any theme of any kind and you plot it against the price movement for that category or that theme, typically all these new fund offerings come just before the peak of that offering. So they come when the theme has already run for a long time and it's close to peaking, almost invariably. So typically investors don't make money in the NFOs. That's the data. And that's not surprising because the thematic funds come when that theme has run for a while. The person on the street or the lay person is feeling left out, that my friends have made money, let's say in defense or power, if we speak currently, or small caps or micro caps, and I've been left out. So they will typically try to jump in when this NFO comes. Now the fund managers or the fund houses know better. They know that theme is mature and will likely not make money. So why do they still bring out these thematic funds? The reason is very simple. It is because it is easier to gather assets and therefore make more fees. So their objective is to maximize fees for themselves and not necessarily the returns that you make. And the other part, of course, is that given SEBI regulations now, as the size of a fund grows, the fund houses can charge less and less. So the only way to charge more is to start a new scheme which is not of that size, and therefore when the scheme is still small you can charge more fees and expenses. So those are the considerations. Now besides the fact that most thematic funds come near their peak, the other reason why you should think twice, thrice, 5 times before investing in an NFO is that it locks you into this asset allocation and themes change. So the main value addition from a fund manager or your financial advisor of any kind is to tell you when to be in a certain theme or asset class and when not to be. If they are outsourcing it to you that this is the time to be in autos or in IT or small cap, then what are you paying that person for? So take advantage of the fact that you're paying for professional advice or professional fund management, and that decision should be left to the fund manager, rather than you're making that call and, as I said, getting locked into asset allocation which may not work always. Which is not to say that themes don't work. But I'm saying this typically will not work if you get in at the time a new fund offering comes. So I often say that as a rule of thumb, if you want to know where there is froth in the market, look at where the NFOs are clustered. And some time back somebody told me on social media, ma'am, you keep talking against thematic funds, but look at this tech fund which was 2 rupees in 2003 and in 20 years it's compounded X number of times. I said, very good. So it was 2 rupees in 2003. Did you see when it was launched? It was time to perfection. That NFO closed 1 week before the global tech crash. So in that 2.5 years it had gone down from 10 rupees to 2 rupees. So anybody who invested in that NFO lost 80% in no time at all. So that's the danger. So be extremely careful, and I would say as a rule of thumb, avoid thematic funds. Which is why I find it difficult when people ask me, so what is new in your PMS? Because the whole objective is not to be new, it is to be right. I hope that helped.